Emilio. My grandmother, she raised me, and my grandmother was Jewish, and one of her best friends was the wife of an owner of an Italian pizza shop in South Florida. So when we were coming up, every Friday we would go there and eat pizza. And it was like the best pizza because it was homemade. And actually, I think the pizza place is still there. I don't know if the couple is still living because my grandma passed away. That was like 30 years ago. But anyway, appreciate you being on the show. Everybody that's coming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching me from, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. I'm your host, Ramonepreston. Every Monday through Friday, I'm going to have to stop saying 12 o'clock noon because when I'm busy and tied up, it's never 12 o'clock noon. Somewhere in or around 12 o'clock noon every Monday through Friday, I show up here live on the Ramonepreston Show to give you the game. If you are an entrepreneur, I want to talk to you today about mastering the holding company. So if you're watching me live, of course, you can put in the comments what city you're watching me from. If you are a student or a client, I've been saying this every day I go live. All of you that are students or clients or mentees in any of our programs, I need you to love me so much that you always remember to put in the comments that you are a student, a mentee in our program. So whether you are a student in our ministry programs or business programs, whether you are a mentee in one of our ministry programs or business programs, please, if you would be so kind, let the whole world know. Let people like Emilio, let him know that you are a student and a client or a mentee in Ramonepreston University or with one of our divisions. I really appreciate y'all. For all of you that support the Ramonepreston Show, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. Today, I want to talk about mastering the holding company. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to learn, not just learn about holding companies and how to use them and maximize them and benefit from them and leverage them for other business ventures, but you have to become a master. You have to become a master of the holding company. Now, in order for you to become a master of the holding company, that's what we're going to be talking about today for a few minutes, okay? But in order to become a master of a holding company, what exactly do I mean? I'm talking about you mastering the holding company. So what exactly do I mean? I'm going to explain to you what I mean. So what I mean is, we got some students on. Lula, Angelette, I see you, girl. Shout out to you. Appreciate you so much. Enjoyed talking with you. We got a student and a mentee from Savannah, GA. Hey, you are a student. You are a mentee. I want you to let the world know because we've got people who watch these videos. We got people who join the show and they might want to be students. They might think about becoming mentees. I want all of you that are students and mentees, I want you to put something that you got value from inside of the program in the comments. What is like a big takeaway you can share that's at the top of your mind? Maybe it's something you learned today studying on Ramonepreston University. Maybe you were on a Monday coaching call and you heard something, or I answered a question, gave you some insight. Maybe I sat down with you. Please let the world know today something that you have benefited from. What has been a benefit at the top of your mind being a student inside of the Millionaire Blueprint, being a student inside of our ministry school, being a student inside of any of our programs? What is the benefit that you can think of that you can share with us today? Maybe you are a mentee. I see some of the names on the chat. I know some of y'all are alumni mentees. You've been in our mentorship program for a couple of years, some of you. Put something in the comments to let the world know, Like, what is like the biggest bang you've gotten for your buck? Like, what was the biggest takeaway? Please let the world know. I appreciate that. Thank you. All of you that are not students or mentees, I want you to read those comments. We got one of our students and mentees. He put a takeaway inside of the comments. It says, fast is the new big. Ooh, that's a good one there. You must have learned that from somebody like me. Fast is the new big. That's right. That's a principle that we teach and talk about a lot. Fast. Speed is the new big. If you want to be big, you need to be fast. That's exactly what you need to be. All right. So today we're talking about mastering the holding company. Mastering the holding company. So my question is, Miss Lula Battle Enterprises. She says, I got value from properly starting and structuring my business and pivoting and getting my holding company. Bada bing, bada boom. So y'all hear it from students and mentees in the comments. I did not pay them to say that. I mean, if I could, I would, but I didn't. All right. Derek, what's up, nephew? What's up, baby boy? Everything good, man? We spitting some game, giving these folks some game, showing them how to build 7-figure organizational enterprises. That's what we do over here. We show people how to become millionaires, because I know one thing for sure. When your money right, there's a whole lot of other things in your life that's going to get right. So we need to get that moolah, baby, so that those other areas can get in line. So today we're talking about mastering the holding company, okay? Mastering the holding company. So first of all, if you don't know what a holding company is a LLC. It's a business entity. The only difference between a holding company and an operating company is that the holding company has a primary purpose to hold assets like copyrights, trademarks, publishing rights, intellectual assets. Anything that has value, a holding company actually holds. That's the primary purpose, okay? That's not the only purpose, but it's the primary purpose. An operating company, LLC, is designed to operate for the purpose of selling a product or providing a service. So that's what differentiates a holding company from an operating company. What I teach my students and clients is that even if you have a desire or you have an idea to start an operating company, meaning that you have a product that you want to sell or push. You want to push a product. You have a service you want to provide. I don't care if it's washing cars, cleaning shoes, painting, cutting grass. It don't matter. It's an operating company. If you listen to someone like me, you're not going to just start an operating company. Okay, we're going to use OCLLC as an operating company. I'm not going to tell you to just go out there and just start an operating company. This is what most entrepreneurs do. Most entrepreneurs, they come up with this bright idea, right? They get this idea and they say, you know what? I want to sell shoes. I want to sell hoodies. All right. I want to shine shoes. I want to cut grass. I want to start a trucking business. I want to do Airbnb, whatever the thing is that you want to do to make some money. All right. You start an operating company, LLC. What I teach when it comes to mastering the holding company is, instead of starting an operating company, you get to the top of the mountain and start a holding company. Holding company, LLC. Now, why are we going to start a holding company, LLC? There are so many different reasons why this particular structure works best for you, even when you on the come up. Even when you on the come up, there are so many reasons why. I can't talk about them all today. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Once the show ends, I'm going to give you a number that you can text me. If you need to get some questions answered, I'll be more than happy to make myself available. But just for the purpose of today's show on mastering the holding company, let me simplify this by saying, number one, it puts you at the top so that you're not just stuck in here as a laborer. Okay? It puts you at the top so that you're not stuck here as a business operator. as a smooth operator at that. Being at this level, owning this company that owns this company, this puts you just mentally, it puts you in a position to be an asset manager. See, this is next level thinking. And again, if you don't want to be a millionaire, you don't want to be rich, you don't want to be wealthy, you good where you at, everything I'm saying to you ain't going to make sense to you. But if you want to take it to the next level, if you want to experience financial freedom, if you want to get a blueprint for what I'm living and I know works, this is the type of structure you want to have for your business. Just putting yourself in a mental position of an asset manager, it frees you up from just thinking like a laborer and an operator. So you're thinking now, well, what assets am I managing? The first asset you're managing is the asset of an operating business that may have to go out there and cut grass. It may have to go out there and push hoodies and t-shirts and hats, but at least structurally, you have already built something that has more value than you just scrapping it out, grinding and hustling every day, trying to build this business. Because what if this don't even work? What if you get sick of it and you just ready to check out? Now your whole business is gone. Where here, if this doesn't work, you still have something to leverage to do other things with. So that's one of the main reasons why having this type of structure is very important. And again, there are other things that you can do with this type of structure, because now you could take your ideas, you can take copyrights, you could take assets, things that you personally own, and you can transfer the ownership of those things to this particular company so that you can start building value. Like everything I'm telling y'all, I've done it from scrap. I've done it from the bottom all the way to here. I've done it from zilch. So anybody that's listening to me, you like, yeah, man, but you this and you that, and you don't understand what you're saying. You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through to get to where I am. And I'm telling you, I've gotten it out the mud. And one of the greatest leverage points that I've had to get to where I am, having a 7-figure, okay, organizational enterprise, validated, documented with receipts, is this. This has been one of the biggest leverage points that I've used because it gave me the flexibility, the flexibility to actually parlay opportunities, because I was able to play the game in a very strategic way with no resources. So it ain't like I had a silver spoon handed to me. It ain't like I know somebody that gave me a couple dollars to come up. It ain't like a bank was willing to give me a loan. It ain't like I had the best credit score to get credit cards. I didn't have none of that. So when you don't have any of those resources or any capital, how you structure your business, how you set yourself up and position yourself in your business is going to be the difference between you getting momentum and not getting momentum so that you can actually grow. So when it comes to mastering the holding company, number one, you got to understand the structure. Okay? Mastering the holding company. That's the title of today's show. You have to understand the structure. You got to understand how to structure your business correctly. So that means for all of you that have existing LLCs, let's say you went out there and you started an LLC. You can still start a holding company and transfer the ownership of the existing LLC under the new one, because you want to get the structure right. Why do I want to get the structure of my holding company right in order to become a master? Because once I get the structure right, it's easier for me to integrate the systems. Do you understand what I'm saying? Structure, then systems. It's hard to have systems working in a business when the systems ain't got no structure. Let me give you an example. Okay? You build a house from the ground up, right? Let's say if you building a house from a ground up, and then while you're laying the foundation, let's just say hypothetically, while the foundation is being poured, Here come the appliance people trying to put stoves and washing machines in a house that ain't even built. What you gonna tell them? Hold up, bruh. Where you gonna put the stove? We ain't got no kitchen yet. In other words, the system is not gonna function correctly if we ain't got the structure and the framework put up. So when you take the time to structure your business right, particularly with a holding company, with an operating company, you get your paperwork filed and formed, you make sure you have your operating agreements in place. It's easier for you to mentally start thinking about, okay, what is the next move now? The next move is to make sure that once I structure my holding company, my operating company correctly, now I need to start thinking about how am I going to position myself to actually make money? Okay, so that's going to require you having some type of idea of a product and a service, or a product or a service that you can sell, that you can price, that you can package, that you can go out and market. All right. Now, if you structure your holding company the right way, I just shared this with somebody a few minutes ago on a Zoom call. If you structure your holding company the right way, you can actually use your holding company to help position your brand identity. Okay? If you structure your holding company the right way, you can use your holding company to position yourself and your brand identity. See, a lot of people, when they start a business, they start it, but they're not even thinking about their branding. But when you don't think about your branding or your brand identity when you structure your business, guess what it's going to affect? It's going to affect your marketing, and it's going to affect overall your sales. So you got an entrepreneur out there hustling, grinding, scrapping every day. Man, I can't make no money. Man, it's hard out here for a player. You hear all these lame excuses. I can't get nobody to buy nothing from me. Don't nobody want to spend no money. We hear all these lame excuses about why somebody ain't able to make no sales. Well, one of the reasons why most entrepreneurs or small business owners who are solo dolos ain't making sales, why do you think they're not making sales? It's because they are not making an impact in their marketing. Why aren't they making an impact in their marketing? Probably because they don't know who they is in terms of their brand identity. They haven't figured out, what is my brand identity? What is the persona? What is the personality of my business? What is the makeup? What is the MO of my business that I need to be flexing on and flexing with and peacocking and parlaying and showing the world? What is that? If I can figure that out, it's because I probably have myself positioned right in a business structure that makes sense. And then once I figure out my brand identity, now I can start flexing. Let me call off a few names to see if you recognize some of these names. Does anybody recognize the name Johnson & Johnson? Does anybody recognize that name, Johnson & Johnson? Anybody recognize the name Johnson & Johnson? Johnson & Johnson. I think they just recently updated the name to SC Johnson. Same thing. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Does anybody recognize the name Johnson & Johnson? Does anybody recognize the name JP Morgan? Does anybody recognize the name Kroger? See if anybody recognizes these names. Does anybody recognize the name Goldman Sachs? Does anybody recognize the name Morgan Stanley? I'm gonna throw a wild card in here for y'all. Does anybody recognize the name Ramonepreston? Y'all just missed that one. Hey, I'm over here having fun today, y'all. Does anybody recognize these names? What do all these names have in common? Does anybody know what all these names have in common? I threw my name in there. Does anybody know what all these names have in common? What does Ramonepreston have in common with Kroger? What does Ramonepreston have in common with JP Morgan? What does Ramonepreston have in common with Goldman Sachs? What does Ramonepreston have in common with Johnson & Johnson? I'm finna tell you. These names are all names that represent holding companies. You might not even know that. Those are all the names that represent holding companies. You see that? So I'm giving y'all some free game. This is $1 million worth of game right here, but I'm finna go in a few minutes because I got a lunch date with my wife. So I'm finna go. I am not finna leave my boo hanging. But I just want to show you something. All these names have one thing in particular in common. They're all holding companies. But because of how they're structured, do you understand what I'm saying? They had a better way to position their brand identity. Because all of these names, I'm not there yet now. But for the most part, these names are brand names. I'm only a brand name to the people who know me. I'm not on Goldman Sachs level yet. But my point is, these are all holding companies, and because of the structure of the entity, they were able to use it to position their brand identity. This is what I'm trying to get the solopreneur to see. This is what I'm trying to get the entrepreneur, the hustler, the go-getter who's out there trying to figure out, man, how do I build something valuable when I'm not making enough money? You're focusing on the sales. You're not thinking about the marketing, the branding, and the structure that reinforces the sale. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying making a sale is going to be easy, but I can guarantee you if you have the right business infrastructure, and built into that infrastructure is the brand identity, and out of that brand identity is the correct marketing, I guarantee it's going to change the outcome of your sales. Every time. Every time. Because you look at these names, again, I'm not there yet, but if you look at these names, outside of being a holding company, I'm on this list, but these names, they don't have a problem making a sale. They don't have a problem marketing. Even if they stop marketing, they're still going to make sales because of a brand identity built into an infrastructure that happens to be the same type of entity I keep telling y'all to build your businesses around. So with that being said, this is the second week that my team has talked me into offering you a free business assessment. So if you're thinking about starting a holding company, structuring a holding company, if you need more information about the holding company, if you just need to get some questions answered, this week only, this is the last week I'm doing it. This might not happen for another 8 months. Every once in a while, I circle back around when I have a schedule, a calendar that's free. And my personal assistant, Hun, the squad, they realized that I had a free calendar and they was like, yeah, you might need to do this another week. Now I'm tied up for another week providing free complimentary business assessments. But if you would like to take me up on that offer just to get some questions answered, maybe you just need some direction on where you need to go, what you need to do. You might already have things started, but you're just not sure. All you need to do is this. Just text. See, do I have the number? Text right here, the word holding, to 678-276-8253. If you text that number, one of my people, most likely it's going to be my personal assistant, or our executive administrator, they're going to schedule a one-on-one business assessment with you. And I'm going to give that to you for free. No strings attached, no pressure. All right? That's if you have questions that you just need answered. James Stephen, that's right, Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, I would have used that name, but I know it's not the name of a person, so that's why I didn't use it, but it is a holding company. YouTube, yep, it is a premier brand. James Stephen, that's right. They're holding companies, they're premier brands, but again, it's how you build your infrastructure. You don't have to be a millionaire to have a holding company. You don't have to have a whole lot of stuff going on to have a holding company. Some people will tell you you don't need it, and they're right, you don't need it. But guess what? If there's anything I can use to give me some leverage, especially if I have the knowledge, I'm going to use it as leverage so that I can get to point B from point A. If there's something that I can use and I have the knowledge on to get from point B to point C, I'm going to use it. Most people that I talk to through these social media sites are people who ain't got a ton of money sitting around, who ain't got a whole lot of credit lines and resources just sitting in reserves. Most of the people that watch these videos and come on the show, and I'm not bad talking nobody or downplaying where you at. I'm not trying to count your money. I'm just saying the average small business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur doesn't have a whole lot of resources to build a organizational enterprise. So what that means is the knowledge you get is going to be critical to how fast you get to where you want to go. And so this is just one of the not common but more creative ways you can implement certain strategies to get further up that road. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have, even if it's not about holding companies. But if it is, you could text the word holding to 678-276-8253. Hey, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming on the show. I apologize. I was a little late today for the right reasons because I was busy working today, and I have a lot of appreciation for the people that I work with, and it's hard for me to just hit the stop button when I start going. You already know I love to talk. I love to share information. I love to help my people. I love to see my community grow and families thrive and businesses prosper. That's what I love to do. I'm available. You can text holding to 678-276-8253, and we will extend an offer to you, which ends this week, of a free complimentary business assessment. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, hopefully 12 o'clock noon on the dot Eastern, right here on the Ramonepreston Show. Please put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from today's show. Like, what did you learn? Today's show was about mastering the holding company. So I shared a lot of good information with you about the holding company. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was from today's show. Was your biggest takeaway, what was it? Was it about asset management? Was your biggest takeaway about the structure of your business? Was your biggest takeaway about the names I shared with you? Whatever your biggest takeaway was, please do me a favor. Put the takeaway in the comments. Let the world know what you're learning on the show. This is a show. Of course, it's educational, it's entertaining, but more importantly, it's a platform for you to be introduced to concepts and principles that you can put to practice. So I hope I did what I intended to do today for you, which is to give you value, share new information with you to help you along the way. With that being said, love you, appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show. We'll be back here tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon, same place, same time on the Ramonepreston Show.